We're Meat Playground. As far as us five together goes, we're pretty new.
They used to be really good, but then they lost a couple of good players.
We're Falafel Gaming.
I can't really say that we're worried about them, but we're also not going to underestimate them.
They're beatable, and the bracket's it's up for grabs.
I think we can beat them pretty easily.
We're going to take it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the League of Legends Season 3 North American Qualifiers. I'm Riv, along with Freak. We're here to bring you the Gank by Gank live action here from Los Angeles. And I hope you guys are ready for more action, because right now on Twitter, they're kind of naming this matchup the matchup to watch to not watch if you're hungry. Falafel Gaming versus Meat Playground.
It is a flavorful matchup.
Twitter. Yeah.
It's a flavorful matchup in front of us, guys. It's going to be pretty awesome. Now, you heard it in the pregame interview briefly. Two of the star players from Meat Playground are missing. Pobelter, Light Sludge, both of them too young to join the championship series. You got two new
hasn't
players
aged in like 5 years.
No, he's remained 16 forever.
Yeah. I don't think we realize his birthday's on a leap year or something.
But yeah, they're missing two of their star players. And the thing is, It's interesting, though, because I actually apparently have met Arthlon before. I didn't know this, but he messaged me before the game. And he's like, I played with you, actually. I carried you twice with Jungle Heimerdinger. So this guy has a wide variety of champions in new AP
Thanks,
mid.
bro.
Yeah, and thanks for the free elo. I appreciate it. But yeah, they're two new players. We've seen them in scrimmages so far. They've been really good, but it's still a bit of a question mark.
Yeah, it's going to hurt having those two guys be out. The new one's coming in. Also, they're saying Arthlon forgot his mouse, so he's playing with a new mouse, and that concerns the team a bit. But next up, we have to focus on where Meat is on LAN.
That's true. We've seen a lot of these really, really sort of high-caliber online American teams. Fear at least proved that they can win on LAN finally. Meat Playground's another one of these guys who has a great online presence, and when it comes to in-person events, they don't step up to the plate quite as well. And some of that can be inexperience, some of that can just be nerves, who knows what. But it's always something to keep in the back of your minds. And they're coming in here as the highest seed in their group. They're certainly a favorite here, one that many teams are expecting to move on. But you've always got to be a little bit concerned about what your LAN nerves are like.
And another funny part to watch about this match is always, if you know the LoL community, the high solo queue, that Admiral Azingi, his rivalry with General Odd One always being a little bit ahead of him in queue and causing Odd One to have to play a different position. But nonetheless, it's about these two teams, Meat Playground and Falafel Gaming, and we're into Champion Select.
All right, so right off the bat, I did talk with Meat Playground very briefly, and they're like, we're going to rush that ban on Rumble. The only thing they really cared about, and their thought process going in was, we're confident, but we're not going to underestimate you guys too much.
For sure.
They know they should win, even with the new roster. They still are in pretty good shape, but yeah, this is a very, very important match. You do want to be concerned about that.
So let's talk about a few more new players that they've brought in. We do have Balls coming in, but we've seen lately that teams are looking for those players that have played multiple roles. They are, advantageous in the jungle, going top. And then Balls saying within his interviews that I feel with my position as AD carry, I can be more vocal, I can cover the map more with my vision, and I can help my team more as well.
And that's good. And he was actually one of the initial members of the old MTW North America roster that became Fear. So, these players having a bit of a reunion, even if on different teams, it's just kind of fun to see these guys kind of come back together, get picked up, Balls back on the AD carry role, doing well for himself. And the insta-lock there on Amumu, this is something that, again, talking with Meat Playground, they said there's basically 4 main champions to look for: Evelynn, Kha'Zix, Nunu, and Amumu. And those are the ones you're going to see get picked or banned in every single game. And the 4th one left there, Amumu, that was theirs, insta-lock.
And you could have that MF combo coming in well. The Taster's Choice right now. Everybody just loving that matchup. You have the Cho'Gath and the Ezreal coming in on their side. Safe picks for the AD carry. A little bit of beef for the team.
Yeah, and it's a really, really good situation here as well. I just realized that the Amumu is also stolen away from Azingi. I think that's kind of important to note. That's kind of his most known champion. Azingi really pioneered buying ability power on Amumu. He kind of played him in the jungle over and over and over again, but actually would go for a Hextech Revolver, Sorcerer's Shoes, and go for extra magic damage output. They stole Amumu away. In fact, there's the misfortune. There's the Sona. Elements was saying that Sona MF is like the lineup they would pick in like a blind pick game 5. Sona MF is like the lane that Chris would love to get.
It's great early. You have a team fight late game with Crescendo. The poke early game is going to assure you a heavily aggressive lane if you require it, but Falafel Gaming is pulling out with this pick now somewhat. They kind of have that poke comp. A great initiation from Cho'Gath, great initiation from Pantheon, and they can just keep poking those fights to start them and get in there when they want.
That Pantheon pick is going to be awesome. Now, he's picking it blind. You have no idea what he's up against in lane, but it's just full confidence here from Falafel Gaming. The cool thing about this, actually, is we watched their online qualifier matches last weekend, and he got a straight-up full pentakill, like in a 3v5.
Yeah, he was like, oh, my team died. I think I should still go in.
I think it's time to man drop.
Yeah.
And then
still
just
go in.
You know, the Mulan music was playing in the background, and you just killed everything in a row. It was a glorious sight, and Pantheon players everywhere just rejoiced. But actually, I really like this Falafel Gaming team so far. It is a lot of basically dunking and all-in damage output. Leona, Cho'Gath, and Pantheon all want to kind of get in your face and burst you down really fast. And Ezreal, from way far in the back, serves two purposes. One, the True Shot Barrage gets to go in there and supplement his team's damage, but also, he is the most self-sufficient AD carry.
Right.
He is the hardest guy to catch and actually pin down. So even if the rest of his team dives in, he can jump out toward the back and be fine.
Yeah, and actually you're saying diving in, that's exactly what Falafel Gaming has banned out with their selection and choice. You know, Ortholan's Kha'Zix in those online just scrims we were watching actually just the other day and commentating, he was ridiculous. He got by the line every time, just jumping over, killing the AD carry, and the team, you can't do much after that, you know? You can't get it. So right now, by taking those out, Ezreal's even safer, and now they're out of their comfort zone. We'll have to see what Meat Playground can do.
Well, Meat Playground, I mean, you look at these picks, and it's a very obvious trend of we're an area of effect team. I mean, you look at all these champions, they all want to press R and then watch everyone die in the team fight in the next 3 seconds. I mean, that is the clearest example of an R button team I have, like, literally ever seen it. Like, the who's who of I want to press R to win the game team. Like, maybe Rumble instead of Cat, but, like, that's it. Like,
this is almost like what Good Game University ran a little bit. You leave, you know, the AD carry on the outside to poke, lesson, Cat reset, Cat reset, Cat reset, and the AoE ults.
Yeah, this is a very, very brutal lineup here. You're seeing the last pick finally come in here. Believed to be the top laner here. The Cho'Gath could top lane or jungle.
Right.
But they're looking at Elise right now. And I actually like Elise a lot for a couple of different reasons, especially
Super
against
strong
this team.
right
Yeah,
now,
she's super strong overall. Her laning phase is ridiculously good because she has very, very high base damages. But even on top of that, she scales off of her opponent's health. And if you put her heads up against Vladimir, that's perfect. He's going to have an unnaturally high health pool due to his passive, his ability power granting him bonus health, and that is going to be a lock-in onto Elise. I mean, this is a dive hardcore kill one guy team without resets, to be fair, but still super hardcore dive versus press R and watch the field melt away.
Yeah, so let's take a little bit of recap of these teams. You have a lot of beef with an Ezreal on the back line. We've seen that before. We saw it in the qualifiers, and it works well. I forgot who ran it, but they came out with a victory, so we'll have to see if they can keep that Ezreal safe. The other team, Meat Playground, says, I want to fight.
Yeah.
So coming into this, having that, you were just saying the Elise, her laning is amazing, but that fighting seems to be lackluster. Where is that going to come up for that team?
It's difficult. We actually have seen her played a little bit in Korea in the recent months, and the build was like Russia Warmogs grabbed Shirelias, and you became this initiator. You became this tank initiator with spiderlings. You try to get levels, so you can get more spiderlings out.
Right.
And she ended up transitioning into this tank role because, again, the base damages are good, the volatile spiderling helping to wave clear and all that. It was a very, very strong champion overall, and you basically, because all you want to do as Elise is kill one guy,
right.
you wanted to
Get
pick
that
fights.
execute. Yeah.
Exactly. You want to pick fights and start them. And so getting Shirelias and jumping in with the rest of the team, you've got a global ultimate from Ezreal, a global ultimate from Pantheon, a very long-range stun from Leona. Honestly, this Falafel Gaming team, it looks a little bit ragtag. You don't see all these champions all the time, but the actual synergy is there. They can reach a guy and kill him almost whenever they want. And the thing is, it actually works really, really well here because normally you're like, well, Meat Playground has this like who's who lineup. The 5-on-5 is amazing, but they won't get 5-on-5s all the time. They're going to get someone picked off if it goes Falafel's way very frequently, and they'll never get one. They'll get a 3-on-5 or a 4-on-5, and you can actually win those.
It's really completely what we've seen from Cat teams lately. And the Cat's supposed to roam, but they're just doing it tenfold like we saw last time. That GGU, the Shen Cat, like, ridiculous. Every time Cat would initiate, Shen was there. They got the kills. And this could happen for these guys this game. If they can get those early, you know, two-man gank runs where you push the lane and get out of it, that's how they started it, and they carried it on. It seemed like they just gave the other team no chance because they were like, killed that lane, top lane may be losing, but let's keep focusing on that bottom lane. That's going to be their fighting group, and they won't have it.
Exactly. You can really focus on kind of shutting down key elements of any one of these teams and making it happen. So on the one side, if you shut down Meat Playground's main, physical damage dealer Misfortune, you can stack magic resist and survive it. If you shut down the main crowd control sources such as a Moo, they can't initiate on you. I mean, Flash Ult Sona maybe, but that's it. Right? You remove one of the key elements of the team fight, and suddenly you're in much better shape. That's an absolute possibility here. On the flip side, you eliminate the AD carry damage output. You get rid of not Valkyrin, but you get rid of Mr. Wish, and suddenly there's just no follow-up. Even if you get into a team fight, even if someone does get picked off, you can just kind of walk into them. There's no persistent damage output available. You'll still get it no problem. That's not going to be a huge difficulty. So, you're exactly right. Both these teams can focus on eliminating one or two members every time and snowballing that lane out of control, and it breaks the team fight.
So we have Meat Playground coming in super AP heavy. Amumu's ultimate, or Amumu's passive, really kind of disregarded in league play. He comes up to you and he'll just start reducing magic resistance on hit. So that team has Vladimir now with Hemo Plague, 12% more damage. You also have the ultis coming in from MF to shred on top of that, especially once she gets the Black Cleaver. And we'll have to see how many times that comes up in our Twitter question of the day. What's your favorite item for Season 3? People are like, I can't hold enough. Guess what it is, So we'll have to see. Yeah, Sunfire Capes. I can't stack them anymore, man. What's up? Come on, right, please.
But yeah, Black Cleaver really is like the Sunfire Cape of Season 1.
It is.
Where Garen buys 5 of them and wins the game.
Or Rammus, and you just roll around. But yeah, they're going to have that AP. So does that make mitigation easier? You're really only, like you said, you take out MF, you stack that armor, and the fight's going to be a little bit easier.
I think that kind of should be the goal here, because you remove Vlad or Cat, and there's still another sort of magic damage backup there. Whereas, Misfortune Sona is a very aggressive lane, but they're not very safe. Right? Neither has a kind of a blink or move block. Neither have a stun. If you actually get rid of Misfortune's strut, she's got no tools to get away from you. She has like a slow, but that's not all that good at escaping. Meanwhile, you've got a very gank-heavy team. Leona makes kills happen. That is basically her role in the game, is to make things die. And especially with Sona losing some base health and base armor in a recent nerf, you can actually all in the Sona. It's one of the I think it's probably the only support you could reliably say, well, all in the support and then hit the AD carry. Normally in a 2-on-2 lane, you've got to kill the carry first, because they'll just take you out once you finally have killed the Taric or whatever. Sona, you can actually just burst and then turn over. And so this is a lane they can absolutely shut down against Meat Playground.
And we'll have to see how they play it. If you're a fan of watching Crepo's stream, he plays a lot of Leona, and he'll discuss how it's played, and he'll say, what we really want to do is levels 1 and 2, you want to get that kill. You want to use the power of Leona. You want to use that shutdown. And like you just said, Sona is one of those supports you can take that factor on. Yeah. Usually you're like, we don't want to go on the support. AD's just going to take both of us out. Double kill. Not worth it, right? So they could really factor in that and get that bottom lane going right off the bat.
Exactly. I'd actually queued up with Crepo a couple of times when he was in LA still. And we had like a level 1 fight, and both the bottom lanes Flash got burned. And he was like, okay, great. We're just going to like instantly kill them at level 2.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wasn't ready for that, because I had not played with like a high caliber, like a support of that caliber before.
Like,
and he's
boom,
like,
we leveled
on top of them on the turret. And I'm like, oh, right, that's what you meant. Oh, they should be dead right now, and like I lost the game hardcore. I could Crepo couldn't even carry me.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it was like, and in retrospect, it was like, right, they literally had no flash. They had no way of getting away from you. Of course, we should all in that. Oh, right, that makes so much sense. So yeah, being the aggressor, even when it's surprisingly so, is really the right move here. Leona makes people die. That's her role, and yeah, you sort of consider Meat Playground the favorite, but you've got some matchups that can really go the other way.
And it's going to be big. Really, neither team has a super-duper level 1. Plus, we're going on single eliminations, that Korean-style play of the brackets of the 2-win, 2-loss. The next day, tomorrow, we will have the first place of each group playing against the second place of another group. So it's going to switch back and forth, and then down to the 4 for that final contract. But right now, stripping them down to 8, Freak. We're going to have to see now. Meat Playground versus Falafel Gaming. These guys are getting back in. And we're going to have to see how this head-to-head goes for your second group.
All right, well, the game underway, and again, Meat Playground up on the blue side here. Falafel Gaming in red, rather. Sorry, I was going to say purple, but that's incorrect. And yeah, they're milling the way out, and let's see what these initial postures look like.
You do have some of the flasks, as Jat was mentioning earlier, that may be a little hurtful towards the first early part of that lane, but you will be able to sustain the level 3, 4, 5, and you have a little bit better of chance of fighting. Looks like they are spreading out, so it won't be too much of a hard invasion, just looking to possibly get those early wards down and really prevent that map vision, something in Season 3 that we've seen the supports come into with those new items, new masteries, and really the level 1s have become a lot more cautious and not as just aggressive and careless.
Yeah, exactly. These guys are really being very defensive, and that kind of reads to me as that both these teams feel confident. It's typically the underdog team that sort of builds out this strategy that says, look, we're going to get ahead early on because we kind of need to. And instead, this is kind of a group where, you know, Dr. Trevor, a little bit of harassment there onto X-Hazard. And again, I think that's a good matchup here for Elise. But, you know, they're kind of squaring off, and it looks like no one's going for any trickery. 80 carries in the bottom lane. You know, solo top there's going to actually be in the top lane, and we'll just have, you know, straight up just one-on-ones and two-on-twos the whole way through.
So jungle Cho'Gath versus jungle Amumu, something we see quite often lately. Cho'Gath a little bit faster in the jungle, so we'll have to see when he comes to lane how that will affect and if it will be a counter. Looks like Amumu actually may be starting a different spot.
Yeah, he's going to be starting up on his own Wraith camp, and that is a little bit atypical, though. It might show a level 2 gank bottom. Actually, no, with him starting just, I don't know, I can't really see a Despair Bandage Toss level 2 gank bottom, but you're seeing actually Arthlon stealing away some of the experience there. That's going to allow him to hit level 2 first in lane. It's actually a new common practice for mid laners to soak up XP there. And it gives them a bit of an advantage here.
So they're kind of happy to share that XP. I know we saw just previously in the game, I think it was Team Tower Dive, they did Xin Zhao to take red with a Shen top, and he didn't even take their lizards, they just ran out of it. So these guys are trying all new different things. I'm sure this game is a little bit more orthodox within the playstyles of these members. But Meat Playground now versus Falafel Gaming. If you're just joining us here, we are into Group 2 of your North American Season 3 qualifiers.
Oh, wow. He is looking for a gank.
Yeah, that is going to be quite quick. You look down, he does have Bandage Toss and that Despair.
Yeah, so he is looking for the level 2 gank here. The one thing about Pantheon is he is kind of all in. Arthlon's going to try to bait him and try to get him to initiate so that he can turn on the Bandage Toss. The lane is pushing toward Arthlon's turret, and there's the move.
And here we go, the Bandage Toss is in range to hit here. He's going to dash onto him, so anything they do is going to be under the turret after here. There's one shot going onto Ink. He gets out in a 50% trade there for his health, and he should be able to stay in lane.
Yeah, he does have a lot of potions early on. This is really what happens when you go for a flask potion start, is you, as long as the gank doesn't kill you or burn a summoner, you're pretty much safe from then on. You're going to see Valkyrie heal back up, and it kind of gave Cho'Gath a bit of free reign there to actually farm up.
Yeah, Cho'Gath knows what's going on. He saw the Ink did not have blue yet. He feels comfortable going top. No, he's going to be doing that. And here, Freak, he's going for the lane. Does he? Oh, he has not seen that little part of bush that's showing. He actually may as he goes in here. He has not made the move yet. As you can see, the Fog of War coming back. He does have the move now. X-Hazard close up. He is level 3. He goes out. He pulls under. He pulled very early there. The stun not going to be able to come out as that was thrown. Good play by both.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't quite like that move. Actually,
going down onto Balls. Balls could go down here, looking for the first blood. They actually turn. Sona is going to try to block them both in the bush. Very great job there.
Wow, that was actually, yeah, there's the early aggression you look for. Arthlon there in a fight with Valkyrin as well. Geez, Valkyrin, yeah, I guess his stun is already down. He's going to let that one go by. But an early vision ward actually down here in this bottom brush is actually pretty relevant. It's going to make sure that Meat Playground can never wrest brush control there.
Have Ink coming back into mid again. They want to shut down this Pantheon. They know he's going to give Arthlon problems. Cat cannot do what she wants with a lane pushing like that. There can't be the roam coming in here, but it's going to be a Zingy on the counter gank. Rupture just misses. Arthlon forced out by the Heartseeker, and it looks like they both live once again. Great attempts from both teams so far, Freak. One of these is soon to hit.
And they're just getting lower and lower, honestly. There's Elise actually moving in a hazard.
X-Hazard, there's the execution on. She does not have any mana left though. Pools, the Ignite is on, but the tick will not be enough.
He came into lane with like 9 health potions. Yeah. That is not a Vladimir who's going to die.
Still has 7.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's going to keep taking poke. He can actually pretty much out-sustain the mana regen from Dr. Trevor. So, you know, that early lane, it's always the bane of Vladimir here. Where, oh my gosh, Ezreal chunked so low. He's going to make his way out of that one. But yeah, the early, like, first 4 to 5 levels are Vladimir's weakest point. Right. So spending 400 gold on consumables to survive that phase, honestly, it's worth it.
And I really like what Balls and Lemon God are doing. They realize they've passed that level 2 scary moment against the Leona lane, and they're pushing. They've seen Cho'Gath top for quite some time, and they're using that advantage to just push this lane in, and they're really giving themselves the upper hand there. They got 39 to 26 on CS for the AD.
Yeah, and that's going to be Meat Playground heading back to base right there. They knew Ezreal got forced out. Him down to 12 health means that was him definitely backing. They shoved to the turret, recalled back. They won't even miss minion kills doing this.
It looks like really nobody has gone back to buy too many items yet, and if it has been, they're not boots, they're items to mitigate and sustain in lane.
The Vamp Scepter on both sides, and here's Arthlon looking in
like
mid.
He could be hit. Arthlon going in, beautiful flash on the bandage toss. He looks like he's gonna go full on in for it. The turret gonna hit one more time. It's not gonna be enough, and he will make it out alive. First blood going to Arthlon.
Now that's a really nice move, and he actually opened up with the Elixir of Fortitude, 250 bonus health when you chug it early on, and he kind of chugged it to make sure he wouldn't die to the turret damage, but it's a cool move to see. Katarina already had been back once for items, got a bunch of armor early on to survive that lane, and that Elixir just to make those dives work.
A little old school red pot.
Yeah, it's a really good opener. We've seen that occasionally. There's one of the Korean top laners does that every single game as well. I forget which one though.
And now there is finally the push that Arthlon was looking for in his mid lane. He'll be able to get the roam on here. Lemon God, bottom lane level 4, so no crescendo here, but they do draw the attack. A perfect job there. They bait in, nose it in, and they could get the kill. A flash out is required. The Death Lotus to finalize. Could she capitalize? One more getting in, and it is going to go down to MF, but Mr. Wish picks up one in the 2-for-1.
Yeah, that was a very, very aggressive move there by Katarina. Honestly, it's still worth it to trade 2 for 1, but Ezreal at least getting some gold is a really big impact.
Ink now trying to make something happen top as the gank was bottom, so they're going to put pressure onto this now. They are just making sure each lane has no chance to do anything. Staying right in the middle, Elise is going to have to fall back down. The damage to come out, one last transfusion. They're not in range, and great job. Trevor gets himself out alive.
Well, that was a very, very nice move there. Actually, here comes the man drop. They're going to go for this.
Ink could be hit by this one. They just not in range. He is looking just for Axe Hazard. That pool is not up yet. He will go down to Ignite, and it is going to be the focus on Ink as he just walks away.
Well, there is the power of Pantheon. Really nice evasion there. You saw specifically Dr. Trevor saved Repel until he saw the bandage toss go out. And then he waited as long as he could, tried to buy time for Valkyrie and baited them to the turret. It was a really, really good escape. Very narrow, but it worked.
Pantheon going for the fast brutalizer into that black cleaver. Didn't choose to go for the HP first. He's kind of getting taken down by Arthlon in lane now. There's been a lot of focus from Ink. You think he would kind of go for a little bit of sustain?
Well, the thing is really like, he's going to rely on the flash for it more or less. That's kind of his main goal. Because what he needs to do is not lane forever. Pantheon's not like there for the laning phase. He's there to gank and use that man drop and kill people off. And so his goal is, okay, I'll have flask every time I get back. I'll heal back up. That's fine. But he needs that fast brutalizer as he has now. He needs to go and make people fall over. So he's going to keep going for that kind of play.
So we're now 8 minutes into this game. Looks like everybody's kind of setting up here. Lemon God is 6. They are both 6. They could throw down the crescendo. There is the ultimate to follow from MF, and they will pop off onto Leona, leaving Ezreal to flash away, and the aggression is one after the other.
But here comes Arthlon.
Arthlon to the bottom lane. The flash on Poe if he wants to. Mr. Wish just knows right off the bat. A Zingy probably won't be able to get the kill here, but he will throw out some harass.
All right, so he's going to slow Arthlon down, but he's going to get an easy wave clear here. And honestly, because, yeah, I mean, his bottom lane is already leaving to go back to base, so I think the fact Miss Fortune's going to farm that a little bit here. But already you're seeing a 5-2 early lead meet Playground, and it's really Arthlon, right? We talked about him in the early game. He was the guy to look out for. I'd seen him do very, very well in scrims, but you're still the new player. You're replacing Pobelter. Pobelter, one of the best players in North America, and he's still showing up and saying, yep, so, new player or not, I definitely deserve to be here.
So we come in here. Zingy has quite a task for himself now to come back and help these lanes that obviously have to play careful. He's saying, I'm top, you guys bottom have to be careful, but Katarina comes in. What can Falafel Gaming start to do to counter this?
They just need to get the roams going. They need the ward coverage to spot Katarina, because she's the one who's making all the huge plays. Actually has to take that back. It's taking a lot of punishment.
Oh, the Ignite is on. The Repel is up, and there, the final execute. Yes, no, the Ignite doesn't let it go. He finally gets the last hit on. Trevor almost missing that one. Had to do a double take.
All right, so yeah, those are the two really ways that Falafel Gaming will take this one back. They're winning top lane. They need to rely on Dr. Trevor to keep assassinating. And they need to get to the point where it's mid-game, where they can roam and it's not just the jungler making all the moves. The Valkyrie can keep dropping. I mean, everyone so far, if he's dropped it, he's gotten a kill for it. He needs to keep that going. If they can get the mid-game pressure, that's what they need for Falafel.
So we see the lane kind of even now until this push. That Vladimir Elise, you said that Elise would have a pretty good time there because Vlad has to synergize with that health, which makes Elise do more damage.
Yeah, and so she's rusted Chalice of Harmony, so a lot of mana regen to keep throwing out that harass. Vladimir, you've seen right here, rushing a Negatron Cloak, Null Magic Mantle, and unless he's really going Mercury Treads, there's not an item he's looking for that builds off of that.
Oh, there's an Initiate down bottom. The True Shot Barrage hits perfectly. Balls could find himself going down here. The first time to Mr. Wish. The Ignite will go down. He will finalize that kill whether he goes down or not. Lemon God looking for that last cast on the power chord. If he can get the shot off, he actually may come up with a kill here. He's going to take down Ozidin, and it looks like they go 1 for 1. Here comes the man drop, though. Lemongod trying to just get out of range, looking to kill Ezreal. He is safe for the time being, but that flash jump over does not get the last kill. Valkyrin coming up to save Wish.
All right, there we go. Those drops once again making the fights happen, and those are the kills that they need. And getting Valkyrin fed, that was how they won.
Right.
Some of those online bracket matches was just him being a huge terror as this sort of attack damage assassin, and that's going to be a really important point for them. And the good thing about this is that Dr. Trevor on Elise scales with health and does not care about your armor. So if you itemize to stop Valkyrin, you are not stopping Dr. Trevor.
Good push in here. Hemo Plague into Curse of the Sad Mummy. Ult on top of ult on top. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was just an amazing group right there. That's just, blowing ults is fine, honestly. Getting a kill is worth it always.
So coming in here at the mid lane now, let's discuss a little bit, why we see Pantheons, why we see Zeds, why we see Kazakhs in mid. What is this up and coming?
So this is basically the big, actually take it back,
Valkyrie taking a lot of damage, tries to jump in for one last Aegis. Arthalon going on to Ozidin. Doesn't look like they'll continue here. They will get the turret. Hazard trying to find his way out of the aggro of the turret. Is Ink right on the other side to help him. There's the ultimate coming down. Xenoblade just missing to the troll pool. There's the Ezreal ulti to miss as well. Ozidin by himself, probably going to come up with at least one here.
I don't know.
Looking for that Zenith Blade to finalize this one. He's taking a little bit of damage. He's forced off, but here comes Elise from the top side. It could be all about him coming in. Can Trevor do? No, he cannot get the repel on to find Hazard in time. So close, though.
That was a very, very nice troll pool there by Vladimir, getting himself out of that battle, because that would have been a scary situation.
That was a great true shot rush.
Another sort of battle under the turret, though. Balls gets caught by the Rupture.
There it is. He's slowed just for a little bit. They're going to try to get as much damage here as possible. There's no red buff involved. So back up to that speed, and the aura from Sona. Azingi still on the tails. He's going to have Rupture just a few seconds. Dodged by Balls as they continue to run. They have Pantheon just on the right side, and they walk into Pantheon. Oh, how unfortunate for Balls. He takes the escape that causes his death. They focus onto Lemongod, and he flashes out of the Rupture, so they do get a flash and a kill for that one.
All right, that's a really good fight. And again, you're seeing these clean-up battles over and over. It's Valkyrin showing up. His ultimate, it's back up. It's there to show up for another kill. He just walked to that one, used his own 2 legs to make it work. But that is the sort of gameplay you're going to keep seeing from Falafel Gaming. They are going to keep making these moves. They're going to keep roaming around. They don't want to fight a 5-on-5. They want to fight a 3-on-3. If they can keep forcing them, it's good.
They're slowly getting those 1-and-1-and-1s back, and it's really helping them now. 8-6. They're down by 1,000. They've kind of held that deficit, so that is quite good. They haven't really had to go for objectives quite yet. If they do, Freak, where are your odds for that team fight capability at this point in the game?
A full 5-on-5, really, it's going to come down to the cooldowns. In an isolated situation, I say Meat Playgrounds generally got the better 5-on-5 because that's how it's going to be. But the thing is, their really important spells have very, very large cooldowns, especially with supports often grabbing Ruby Sightstone early on. Cooldown reduction is very late in the build for support. You're actually seeing the build here from Sona, actually including a Ninja Tabby. She is delaying her cooldown reduction items and support items so long in order to survive fights that Crescendo has a long cooldown. And here comes another fight.
And the engagement, Arthalon doing so much damage right off the bat. He hasn't even used his ultimate yet, and they are forced out of that fight. That's onto Leona. That's somebody that's all in the initiation, and that is scary to see her taking that much damage. Azingi will throw some poke out into this fight, and that's where that poke's going to come in handy. They do not have Solar Flare, but here comes the man drop. A nice True Shot barrage, and they initiate onto Ink. Sad Mummy keeps himself alive for a little bit, and a beautiful ultimate from Balls just clearing the entire team over, and the help from the rest of them will begin to clean up. Wish goes down. We see Hazard picking up 2, and Trevor is going to be the final one, tailing off to the top side of mid here as he is chased down. Lemongod may be able to give that aura for speed to get back into this one. Looks like Trevor will be able to get himself out alive in a 5-for-1. 4-for-1, sorry.
Yeah, 4-1. That was a very interesting gambit there by Falafel. They came in and they tried to all-in a Mumu. They were so close to killing off NK Inc. He was down to about 150 health, but then he got Curse the Sad Mummy off.
That was so clutch. He had so little health.
He had very, very little health left. He got the ultimate off, though, and that set up everything. You saw Sona follow it with Crescendo, Misfortune followed up with Bullet Time, and it was 2 or 3 dead without anyone else making any moves. And Meat Playground just cleaned that fight up. All right, we're going to see a replay of that last battle, in fact, and see just how close that came. can come on through. There we go. We got everyone kind of in the group. The man drop's going to come off. It's going to be a beautiful fight, but watch NK Inc. Here comes the Zingy. Puts the silence down. Goes in. There's the man drop. The stun. Nope. They landed it too soon. MF ult hits everybody, and then it just doesn't even matter at that point. There's not enough damage to turn that fight around. It's just theirs.
You know, that is almost one of the hardest fights to win, and is the reason people pull Dragon out of the den. To be stuck in that area is 10 times harder to win that fight because you have no movement. They were able to pull it out beautifully.
The ironic thing is they'd almost prefer that. They'd prefer to be trapped in a little cone because that is
circle.
Exactly. It's like, please come be in our area of effect spells. They don't actually want the spread out everyone on all sides battle. They want the come into the funnel, go dive our mummy.
Scary, scary team right now. That mummy on MF, like I said, Chaser's choice, man. It's got 5 stars on it right now. 12-7, 16 minutes into the game, we finally saw our first Dragon attempt, a little bit later than usual, probably one of the later ones so far in the tournament. These teams have been at each other's necks in lane so far, and they finally got the chance to go for it. So that 1,000 gold lead is kind of now 6,000.
Yeah, it's grown a whole heck of a lot. When you win a fight by 3 kills and get a Dragon afterwards, yeah, that'll kind of do it for you. All right, so
a little aggression there onto Hazard. They're just kind of poking now. And it seems like, you know, the one-on-ones, Trevor has the upper hand there, but that team fight for Elise isn't coming through yet.
It's not quite. He doesn't have any of the big supportive items. He's building for it now. You know, he's got part of Mercury Treads. He's going towards Warmogs. He's getting there. He absolutely is going to get to the point where he can just be this all-in, face-checking initiator, and that's good. And they can always back that up with Ezreal at the very end of it. But, I mean, this is really a team, this Falafel Gaming lineup, that needs to find these oddball kills in various locations. They need the ward coverage, and they need the Grand Skyfalls coming out from Pantheon, and they can turn those into really good situations. But if they're not initiating the fights themselves, I don't think they'll ever turn one good.
You know, great mind play by X-Hazard here, going down bottom. He's just trying to stay in the face of the other team, not letting him grab any turrets, get any of that advantage back. Man drop up top, so they missed that as well. The ult is down. In the next few minutes, Meat Playground happy to engage in another fight, most likely. And here it is. We have a Mumu and Katarina coming from the top. They try to go into X-Hazard. A beautiful flash out of both ultimates. And there's the quick cleanup double kill. Reset for Katarina.
Wow, nice play by Hazard on that one. He actually baited that one out so very well. He saved Sanguine Pool forever. He went in and said, I'll chase Leona. I know it's 1 versus 2, but it's okay. I'm going to make you stick around. Guys, they're stuck. Here's just no turret. And they finally collapsed on it.
You know, I got to give Meat Playground, you know, a hand here. They are just doing everything to avoid the damage and the ultimates and everything. They saw Pantheon jump top. They said, we're on our way bottom. Easy double kill here. They're just in the right spot at the right time right now. And Falafel Gaming, they aren't playing bad. It's just Meat Playground is always that one step outside the ultimate, not getting stunned, not getting this, or getting away with a sliver of health. And it's so hard to win those games.
That's true. We've seen twice now the Grand Skyfall not quite capitalize here from Valkyrie. The one of the Dragon, you know, again, they almost all into move, but they couldn't quite land it. The one of the top lane, we only saw a little glimpse of it, but it just simply was not enough. He wasn't quite in range, couldn't get them. I mean, he got them off the turret, and that's fine, but again, they need to turn those into kills. It's a very long cooldown ultimate.
Looks like we got about 20-20 on the Dragon. Come back up. It's still anybody's right now. Like we said, we haven't seen too much of the team fight phase with everyone. Dr. Trevor was really put on the outside of that last Baron attempt, or last Dragon attempt. 19 minutes into the game now. The gold lead creeping a little bit. It's actually kind of still sitting around 7,000, 6,000, or 6,000 to 7,000 gold. 14-7, and we've seen kills really not matter too much. You know, that can happen all the time, but that one fight, whether it be mid-game or late game to switch it around, can always happen. And they have the team to do that. That long-range initiation we talked about before, but they're all in right now. As we said, they don't have those items to be tanky in the fights. Elise doesn't yet, and their initiations are super all in.
Exactly. They're a very squishy, all-in. They're pretty much melee range when they deal damage, which makes it even easier to land these area of effect spells. Honestly, you do have to admit, Meat Playground has the advantage here. Their team fights have been stronger. They're winning up into the mid-game so far. Their late game was kind of always predicted to be a bit better here overall, but that doesn't talk about the chance for mistakes. Anyone who gets caught out is going to get punished much more by Falafel than they would be by Meat Playground. Meat Playground's only real crowd control is almost always based on an ultimate. And so to catch someone out, you've got to burn a major cooldown to do it.
And as we see them poking around for Dragon here, they are going to set up. It looks like Leona may come to ward. This could be bad news bears. I think they may have seen that go down there. We see this Katarina, and actually, hang on, there could be a fight here. They're going to find Ozid, and I think they're going to quickly use this one. No ultimate required there. They look for the reset. Katarina does not get it, so they're going to go into this fight with a little bit less damage, and they're going to say 1 is good for us. But as I was saying, we see a lot of Katarinas lately going for this pen build. What's that all about?
Basically, it just kind of comes down to math. So when you pick ability power versus magic penetration, you're really deciding, are my base damages or are my AP scalings better?
Oh, coming in here onto Trevor. He wants to stop this. I like what he did there. Knowing his team was there, they don't want to engage the dragon just yet. Curse of the Sad Mummy goes out. Arthlon trying to get a little bit of movement in, finalizes the kill there. The reset comes up, gets himself another one, and he continues to go on. Can he find it? He goes down, actually non-down by a Zingy. A Zingy could be cried on here. That last tier will do it. And we just see how much that AoE and pen composition can do.
That was brutal, and the sad thing was you actually saw balls on Misfortune get caught. Elise had jumped up, went down with Repel, but it was just a point-blank crescendo into bullet time. Basically dropped Dr. Trevor from Fold the Dead. Despite the Warmogs, there's such a farm disadvantage there against Bloodthirster and Black Cleaver Misfortune.
Right.
Too much damage there, he got chunked down.
Yeah, we were seeing Misfortune's ult before the Black Cleaver really take it on. Ozidin just on the other side. It's going to be very hard for the support to be taken. And actually, she's going to go over. She does hit Hazard, trying to get the kill down. Mandrop coming in. They could finalize a few kills here and take Baron off of them. That would help with the next initiation, but a quick turnaround. Ink is just too tanky right now.
Oh, and the damage output from the double up was brutal as well. Yeah. So you extend that fight out, and it becomes like a 7-for-0 plus Baron on top of it. I mean, Meat Playground now, they're really holding all the cards. They're playing this one so very well. Hazard's going to get his own Golem buff. He's going to grab that one. Cooldown reduction. Always nice on Vladimir. But I actually can't stress enough just how powerful now some of these champions are. Katarina with 9 kills, Misfortune with 6. They are destroying things almost by themselves.
And you know, Freak, I think we got to take a chance to take a look at this board here. 9,300 gold is the highest, and that is going to be on balls. The closest to him on the opposing team is 6,700 gold.
That is a really, really brutal difference. When you're 50% up on the opposing AD carry, you just know your damage output is higher. You're seeing a completed Black Cleaver versus just a Zeal, all other items being pretty similar. Going for Static Shiv is going to be nice, but I mean, realistically, Falafel cannot fight a 5-on-5. They need to ward up, and they need to spot things. If Meat Playground never splits up, then okay, right? They can never win a team fight here.
Right.
But they have global ultimates. They have 2 global ultimates. If they can pick up like oddball kills and split push, that's what they need.
Arthlon here. Arthlon getting hit up just a little bit. Ink goes in, and here we go. Arthlon finds himself a kill there. The reset comes up. Sona picking up onto Leona. The repel on, and they will focus Trevor now as he is the last one in range. X-Hazard trying to push Wish into the base, and they will finalize that kill once again. 3-for-0 there. And these guys just have it down with the AoE composition.
Absolutely. You know, even if you only get 1 or 2 kills at this point, they're also individually powerful because of their farm. That without ultimates, they can win a 5-on-4. They can win a 5-on-3, no problem. So sure, you know, go Banish Toss and Movement Ult pick up 2. That's worth it completely. These team fights are theirs.
You know, Freak, there's really something to point out, and how much more Meat Playground is team-oriented in the fight than it is solo fighting for Falafel Gaming. An Aegis is plus an Abyssal. There is no aura item yet finished for Falafel.
And that is a really big thing to be, you know, to kind of keep in mind that the lanes were a little bit back and forth. It was pretty close, but Meat Playground really took the fight to the opposition. They said, we're going to start team fights. Let's go for stuff. We'll grab Baron. We'll grab Dragons. We'll make these fights go. And they won every single one of them. It's what their team is sort of focused around. And as soon as they all hit level 6 to 11, they said, team fights, team fights, team fights. Find an objective, start a team fight.
You got double magic resist reduction on the team from Moo's passive plus the Abyssal Scepter, and you're not seeing any magic resistance yet coming from Falafel Gaming because they're still trying to buy damage to win the fights.
Exactly. They're buying up Mercury Treads, which is, you know, it's a right choice, of course. You're getting
locked down. It's the quickest way to get it there.
Well, yeah, I mean, they obviously need the tenacity. They're getting locked down by a Mumu. If they can get out of Curse the Sad Mummy and maybe flash away from Misfortune ult, that's something. But it just seems to not really be mattering, of course. They do not have the tankiness. You know, I unfortunately kind of ran into the fight the last time, but their goal here needs to be to get a split push going. 5-on-5s will not work at this point. There's not a way they can turn them around without major mistakes from Meat Playground. But a split push with a global ultimate, you know, split the enemy team up, make them react to you. Nope, guess they don't even want to do it. The surrender, that's going to be Meat Playground taking him out.
Yeah, they thought about it, and sometimes you got to get that game out of your head and just say, you know what? It's not the game we played. They did really well in the beginning. And, you know, sometimes this may hurt. Maybe they're arguing with each other and they know to stop here. Come on to the next game.
Yeah, and that's going to be the case here.
Right.
So, facing elimination now is Falafel Gaming. They came in here with pretty high hopes. There's a lot of good name players. Everyone kind of called this group the closest packed together group. Some groups were groups of death and whatnot. Kind of this is a group of death as well because everyone has a chance to make it through. Everyone would have all these matches are going to tend to be pretty brutal. Meat Playground was kind of a big question mark. None of the really big teams there came in. We asked all the teams, what are your top fives? We asked the internet, what are your top fives? A couple of votes for Meat Playground there, a lot of votes for Curse, obviously. But outside of Meat Playground, there's not a huge heavy favorite in this group anymore. And so you're going to see all these battles sort of be back and forth.
Right. There still are great games going on. We had Meat Playground there coming out with quite a strong composition. It said fight from minute one. They said we want to get into this fight. That Leona lane they were against as well. They said, we need to be a little bit slow in the beginning, but let's take it to them after level 3, 4. Katarina was down there right away, and they were just able to capitalize on the lane, seeing Cho and Panth top every time. They really played the map awareness beautifully that game.
Yeah, so perfect play, guys. I mean, this was really, really good Meat Playground, making their mark, just like Team Fear was in the previous group. They are one game away from being top 8. We've got Falafel Gaming in a kind of a rough spot. They've got to turn that one back over. We're going to see who their opponents are going to be. Let's toss it over to the other stage. Stay tuned. We've got another game coming for you.